Welcome back to another episode of Full Circle with me, Onyx. And I want to continue our discussion with dating Pisces or even just relating to Pisces. And maybe kind of like what's going on the inside and like why can't you reach them? And so today I was supposed to go hang out with my sister, and we kind of, things are getting in the way. We're not aligning. And so what's going on is she like I don't really get along with my family. So I was gonna attempt at getting along. So this was actually a sister I do like. Um, but it's now flipped to the other. Now I'm not so sure because I think she might have said something in a text. Well, anyways, this us not meeting up has been going on for a while. And Pisces is sensitive because they're so deep. So when you drop a knife into their heart, it goes deep, 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 deep down in. And it can go all the way in. And so for a lot of people, they're guarded and they have energy blocks. So I would say a lot of material, a lot of slight mean things said or insinuations or kind of get deflected and bounce off of your blockages. But if you don't have those blockages, it goes all the way in. So a shadow of a doubt was created, and then it stirred all this stuff up. And then it brought up all these memories. And then I was like, brought up my attachment issues. I have attachment issues, pretty big. Uh, Abandonment kind of does that to people. So, so it was definitely triggering, and I didn't know if I was brave enough to go and start a whole new friendship with my sister. I'm so used to just having to kind of put on a shell, so used to just kind of having to be avoidant in order to not get involved in conflict. Now, what was also going on is the memories of my other sister, who I do not like, who has Cancer energy. And a little bit, she's a Gemini with a Cancer moon in the eighth house. So she'll like on purposely kind of dig to try to. She doesn't like the fact that I'm a mystic. She doesn't like the fact that I connect to God in my own way because it goes against her religion. She doesn't like my spiritual freedom. So she's trying to find my ego and stab it, to prove that. So she has an agenda and I can see through it. And anyways, so what was going on is I was, the memories were kind of superimposing and blurring a little bit. I was like, my mind was taking my other sister's negative traits and putting him with this other sister, and the memories were getting blurred. I was seeing double vision. I was like, and I was watching myself do it. So this is a thing with Pisces. They can see a lot of their own subconscious mechanics going on. They can, they have access to their subconscious, and they can view it from the witness mode. Like, so they can watch how their mind works. They can kind of watch how some of their subconscious works. Uh, so I can like go analyze myself during the event of creating a psychological situation for myself. So, and I was like, and so I can see this spiraling down. And then I'm going to have to open up and share how I feel. And this might lead to a big breakthrough. It might lead to learning to connect with people. And I'm like, not today. So I canceled. And so I need the freedom to cancel and break plans, even though I like to be punctual and like to, have notice and all this stuff. So things can kind of be convoluted, but there's a psychological battle going on inside of Pisces. And I'd say with all water signs, there's going to be perception battles going on. How you saw things, how you felt about it, how you rewrote the script, how you warped the images in your mind. That just happens with everyone. Uh, but so, yes, it can get complicated. These inner battles within their own mind. And so Pisces might be hiding away to resolve it because they don't want to bring you into the warped experience of drama. So they'll try to work it out first, and if they can work it all the way out, and then they'll come back to good and they'll hang out with you again. Did it change that I care about my sister? No. I still care about my sister, but I might not. I'm worried about karma and how I don't want to get too involved with people because it might mess up the trajectory that I'm going towards. So, and this is important when dealing with anybody. I feel like, you know, we just, people just decide they like you. People just decide they're in love with you. People just decide they want to date you and get along. But they don't really know you well enough. So we need to have better connections. And you need to go slower. It was like with my sister, I'm like, it's been like, what, 40 years? You went and got married, you had kids, you had a career, and I just kind of sat on the sidelines and watched you do everything. I self sacrificed. And I've noticed this pattern with me, and it might be with all Pisces. If we feel like we're a burden or a hindrance to whatever you're trying to accomplish, we will sacrifice ourselves. We will lay down and let you walk all over us, or we'll just get out of the way to let you have that freedom to go achieve and create that for yourself. Because we don't want people blocking us. So we're going to self sacrifice ourselves for you. And in the moment, it feels right, you know? And that pattern's been going on with me for a long time. I don't feel really resentful about it, but I realize you now don't know your sister very well. She's basically a stranger. So maybe you guys should just start texting before you actually hang out, you know? And so I realized I need to take it slower. And so this turns into how to keep a Pisces, how to understand a Pisces. Take it slow. Start texting. Build up some communication. Pisces love to communicate. Like, we are talkers, especially if it's something we like. Well, how do you know? So I tested my sister. You know, I was meditating last Sunday pretty much all day. And so when she texted me, I was kind of like in this lucid, creative, expanded awareness. I was kind of like in God consciousness. And so I just kind of texted her back in my poetic, symbolic language and just to see if she could handle it and feel the vibes through my text. And I think I was like taking off my mask. The other Pisces was coming in, the mystical Pisces, the one that's always hanging out with source energy, was coming down to say hello. It's like, if you're really going to be my friend and really be close to me, you're going to have to meet this other me, this energetic spiritual powerhouse, this lover, this dreamer, this artist, this being that's way too big for this body, way too big for one lifetime. You're going to have to meet my soul. And so, like, it was coming in and coming through the text. And then I got shy, after, the next day I was like, whoa, big reveal. And then I backed off. I was like, that was a lot for me, even. I was like, I'm stretching. And I'm like, the one reason why I don't really ever go over to my family's house is because they're negative. They see things in black and white, wrong or right, and they fight. There's not enough room for my soul. So then there's not going to be authentic expression, and I'm not going to feel loved, and, you know, and so I then get angry and I act crazy and frustrated, and so like all their experiences of me is this angry, frustrated guy with his chip on his shoulders, and like this other me has just been hanging out in a higher plane for the last 40 years. Like they don't even know me. And then my last best friend, the environment was never safe. Even though she was spiritual and we had common interests, the environment was never safe enough to allow this higher me to come in and embody, and for me to be the full expression of my awesomeness. And so that relationship had to go. And so I'm at this point in my life as, I am totally connected to my muse, my soul, my higher self, whatever you want to call it. If there's no room for it, I'm not going to force my soul to be on center stage. I realize I'll just leave. I'll just escape. I'll just be a robot. I'll just be a shell of a person. And so I just let other people dictate what version of me they get instead of trying to force it on stage. Like that's, and create a situation or try to change people, try to heal them enough to open up their hearts enough to allow the good in me to shine. I'm like, no, that's not my journey. Like, I'll just leave and go do artwork. I'll just leave and hang out by myself. And so I find I do a lot of that. And so I assume most Pisces do that. And if they're not in your life, that's kind of what's going on. So Pisces have two bodies. One is a spiritual astral body, and their other one is their 3D human self. So you're not really in a relationship with a Pisces if you don't get both sides. If you don't get to meet both Pisces, it's not you're not really together. Both fish need to be swimming in your ocean with you. And that's a hard thing to have happen. So, like I said, we don't know each other very well. So, everyone, I feel like what's going on is everyone wants everything now. And they forgot the art of cultivating it. You have to prepare other people to handle you. And you need to be prepared to handle them. And so getting to know people, finding out what their real values are. What are their spiritual beliefs? Are they spiritual? And don't accept simple answers like yes, no, or I'm atheist. Go, okay, what kind of atheist are you? Or what are you getting out of your atheism? And don't you know atheism is just a religion of doubt? Don't you know beliefs? The only reason why we keep beliefs is because we're getting something out of it. Like there's an agenda. So, what do you get by having this belief, you know? Uh, and so, if you can't have deeper conversations, like that's the foundation of getting to know someone. And when someone knows you, they can't hate you, they can't not like you. It's natural that the next step is going to be friendship. It's natural that the best friends become real partners. So people try seduction, they try using sexuality because it's the easy go to. But really, when you're looking for a partner, it doesn't matter if you're male, female, or whatever you identify with, you would you would imagine that you're going to at least be friends. And so a lot of people are missing the value of being a friend or being put in the friend zone. When you're in the friend zone, you're actually in the zone of trust, and there's room to develop. And then people will move you out of that friend zone into the partner. So never feel like you have to go about it in egotistical ways, being a show off, being macho, being extra feminine or extra masculine, being sexy, being slutty, being uh, that will do the opposite in the long run. And if someone chooses you for those reasons, uh, they're probably not worth it because you want to be proud of your partner, really. So obviously age, you know, how old are you? Where far along are you in life and maturity? Your partner needs to fit that. So like if you have tons of wisdom and you're a freaking spiritual powerhouse, it's not going to work if you're really with someone who is not. So commonality, you have to have the same level of like brain power. You have to say have the same level of heart. You got to be able to share things on the same plane. You can't be above or below. These deficiencies, you know, create power struggles that don't make relationships work. And so a lot of times, even though the guy was really beautiful, he was kind of dumb, and especially in the realm of metaphysics. And it wasn't working. And it's because I wasn't feeling heard. I wasn't feeling understood. They're like, they're like, I don't get that. And it did make me feel dumb in a way. Like, you don't, I can't, you can't understand me. Am I not expressing myself well? And then it was like, no, it's not you and it's not them. There's nothing wrong. You're just picking people where there's a power, where the power levels are different. You can't, I've always told my teacher, you can't date your students. Uh, so for Pisces, superficialities don't work. Your best bet is to show your soul and be your truth. They will decide if they want to be with you. And it's pretty obvious, really. Unless you get an unevolved Pisces, then they're going to be stuck in shyness and insecurities. Okay, so now let's move on to the deeper stuff behind the scenes, inside the Pisces mind. I like to think that my mind is like a satellite dish, and I'm sending out signals to people all the time and seeing if they will return signals to me. So, my sweetheart, I every once in a while I'll send out a signal to him. I'll be like, you know, I'll be like Professor X. I'll be like, "Can you hear me? How are you? How is it?" You know, and I'll wait for a response. And I really won't send it with words. I'll send it through like a feeling. Like I'll just reach out and see if I can feel his energy. So my sweetheart lives over 1,000 miles away and I can feel his energy. So this is a thing about Pisces. That other self, that invisible being that they are, some people call it astral project. There's different ways to connect with people. You can astral project over, you can bilocate if you're really good, but or you can just reach out with your energy and feel. So I remember one time we were in a stage of conflict and I listened to the signals and honor him. So if the door is closed, it's closed. If, so I remember I sent something energetic towards him. And then he sent me something back. It was loving, but it was still no, door's not open to you right now. And then I had to honor. I was like, okay, darn. So Pisces really wants, really will ethically, a healthy Pisces is going to ethically uh, help. They'll respect your boundaries, your psychic boundaries. So it's like, okay, thank you for responding, but also, darn it, you didn't want to play with me on that level. So Pisces will play with you on a psychic level. And if you're not playing back, they're probably not dating you and not going to feel a connection with you. They have to have a connection in the astral plane, in the energy world, in the world of telepathy. Like these are normal things for Pisces. And if they're not conscious of it, uh, then I'm going to say, oh, well, because I'm very conscious of it. So when I get dark sided, it borderlines on black magic for sure. Um, so I have to I have to be careful how I have to hold myself accountable and have a sense of integrity when I'm working with people because it can definitely go into some reality warping, mind warping experiences. Dark sided Professor X is a thing. So, and so my best friend, who was a Scorpio, we would always dream together and have interesting dreams. And that for me, as the Pisces, having the psychic friendship was the most important part. That was the worm on the hook to keep me in her world. That any time she didn't want to play in the psychic world with me was when I would swim away. So the only reason why I really hung out with her is to be on the psychic level. And so I feel like Pisces is always looking to have someone of what friends, family, close people. They want a psychic connection with you, but they don't want a superficial one. They want it. There has to be a spiritual element. So my replacement friend or my new friend, she's a witch and she's very psychic and she loves animals and she lets her inner child out. And I would say she's irresponsible in some ways, but I find it liberating. I feel safe. I feel like we can explore things like hypnosis, and I feel understood. I feel supported. I there's like an understanding, so we're pretty good friends. A few times she's done things that made me feel, that brought in some doubt, and we almost stopped seeing each other. Like I didn't talk to her for 6 months because I was so kind of upset. So some people have strong feelings and they let it all out at once, in a display of anger, like maybe throw the telephone and scream and yell. A Pisces might slowly let it out over months. They might have a problem, an issue, a thought, and they will They might spend a long time unwinding that energy so it doesn't become explosive in your face. And then once it's resolved and they realized maybe oh, it was them, so I had to work it out inside myself. I had to, and then once I felt good, and then I needed space and time to just sit and get back to good and then decide if I wanted to continue the friendship. I decided I did once I got my ego out of the way. My pride was hurt, all that kind of stuff. So when Pisces is away and you're not connecting, they're either playing psychic games with you to keep connected, or they're unwinding their feelings and trying to dismantle their ego and see it with clear eyes. You know, get some perspective and they'll come back. Pisces will always give you a warning when they're going to leave. So it's kind of like a tide, it can slowly rise, slowly come in, and slowly come out. Like, it's definitely interesting. But the biggest takeaway from this video is pay attention if you're dreaming about your Pisces. Pay attention if you feel a presence near you. It's your Pisces. If you feel a heart to heart connection, like you feel like your heartbeats are together or your minds are together, or you feel like you're cuddling, you might wake up the next day and be like, wow, I just feel like I spent the whole night with my sweetheart. You did. And so, because they're playing on the level of energy and spirituality with you. So last night, I actually went and visited my friend, my new friend, in the astral and in dreams. And I remember my dream. I remember showing her, like I came in disguise. I shapeshifted. And I was going to text her today. And then I was like, no, I'm not. I don't know if she remembers her dream, but I remember it. So as long as I remember it, that's cool. We're still connected. But so it's just interesting. The magical, mystical world of the Pisces. And like, I would say I've met a lot of Pisces that aren't like spiritual, not consciously, but they are. And so it's about vibes. They may not, it's about how they feel when they're around you. And this goes for everyone. If you feel um, good about yourself, being around that other person, they're going to stay. Anyone's going to stay. So, what did you do that made them not feel good about themselves when they were with you? What did they witness you do to someone else? So, I notice I do a lot of self sacrifice because I care about the ones I love. But in the end, I'm just sitting in the shadows, not really changing myself, just jettisoning, just letting my soul leave my body to hang out with people because I care about them. That takes a toll. And then, I'm finally sick of it and then I leave. So pay attention. If your Pisces is checking out while they leave their body with you and they're going somewhere else, you might want to value them more. You might want to change your plans. You might want to say, I feel like if you guys are going to have together time and don't bring other people into it. So, like, kind of be exclusive with your Pisces during those exclusive times. So, I'm going to leave it at this. We're coming to the end. But yeah, if Pisces ever tells you that they're having dreams about you, you guys are connected. Or if they ever, so when Pisces says, I know, they do know. It's not like an ego, oh, I know better, or I know this information. I know better than you. No, it's like an intuitive thing. It's like, I know. Like so my one friend, I had kind of like a spiritual vision about her 15 years before I met her. And so then we hung out for 8 years. And then after about a year of being separated, I remembered the vision and I remembered everything in it, as a warning about what was going to happen in different scenarios. Two different realities were going to play out. And the situation had to play out in whatever timeline I was going to experience her. And so Pisces has the ability of prophecy. So they can foretell events way into the future. And I remember when I was born, I saw 40 plus years into the future. Like I saw my whole life play out when I was little. And I remembered parts of it, like a lot of it. And so here I am 40 years later going, everything that I remember happened. So when Pisces says they know or they understand you, they really do, where other people are just trying to understand you and they might just say it as a word of agreement. Like the word I know means something different to Pisces. So if they're saying, I know, I get you, I feel you, I understand, they really do. And it's refreshing to have someone who actually understands you. Um, Pisces. Pisces have a spiritual connection, like all artists do. Um, and when they're encourage them to have that personal space, to deepen their relationship with their guides, with their angels, with their meditation, with their prayer, with it could be a creative muse, that source of creativity. Like for years as an artist, it was just me being connected to the source. Like my favorite part was going to get art supplies. I didn't even care if I finished the art project. It was being in that creative state of mind, being in that genius mindset that was so important to me. When you let your Pisces be in that creative bubble, maybe by themselves, it recharges them and it makes them glow, and then they become superstars in their life. So you might have to tell them it's okay to go swim. It's okay to connect to God in your own way. you'll you'll get a happy Pisces.